This session, we will be discussing the role of research in data collection as it relates to nursing informatics. At the end of this session, you will be able to assess informatics tools for collecting data and storage of information. The foundation of knowledge model suggests that the most important aspect of information discovery, retrieval, and delivery is the ability to acquire, process, generate, and disseminate knowledge in ways that help those managing the knowledge reevaluate and rethink the way they understand and use what they know and have learned. These goals closely reflect the information literacy competency standards for higher education published by the American Library Association in 2003 in response to changing perceptions of how information is created, evaluated, and used. In addition, new challenges arise for individuals seeking to understand and evaluate information because information is available through multiple media, either graphical, oral, or textual. The sheer quantity of information does not by itself create a more informed citizenry without complementary abilities to use this information effectively. Most significantly, information literacy forms the basis for lifelong learning, serving as a commonality among all learning environments, disciplines, and levels of education. Information literacy is an intellectual framework for finding, understanding, evaluating, and using information. These activities are accomplished in part through fluency with information technology and sound investigative methods, but most importantly, through critical reasoning and discernment. The American of College and Research Libraries has suggested that information literacy initiates, sustains, and extends lifelong learning through abilities that may use technologies but are ultimately independent of them. Because nursing informatics combines all aspects of clinical practice, research, administration, and education, the ability to recognize the need for a specific kind of information and then locate, evaluate, and effectively use that information within the nursing informatics paradigm will catapult nurses ahead of other healthcare professionals and implying and engaging various facets of technology. In an environment characterized by rapid technological change coupled with an overwhelming proliferation of information sources, nurses face an enormous number of options when choosing how and from where to acquire information for their academic studies, clinical situations, and research. Because information is available through so many venues, libraries, special interest organizations, media, community resources, and the internet in increasingly unfiltered formats, healthcare practitioners must inevitably question the authenticity, validity, and reliability of the information. Professional databases represent a source of online information that is generally invisible to all internet users except those with professional or academic affiliations such as faculty, staff, and students. These databases, which range from specific to general, act as collection points by aggregating information such as abstracts and articles from many different journals. Two such databases include the Cumulative Index to Nursing and Allied Health Literature and Medline. The CINAHL, or the Cumulative Index to Nursing and Allied Health Literature, for example, specifically includes information from all aspects of allied health, nursing, alternative medicine, and community medicine. The Medline database contains more than 10 million records and is maintained and produced by the National Library of Medicine. Other databases include PsycInfo from the American Psychological Association and the Educational Resources Information Center, or ERIC database, may also benefit nurses. Many databases also offer full text capabilities, meaning the entire articles are available online. The articles and abstracts contained within these databases have already withstood the rigors of publication in professional journals and therefore are considered viable and authentic peer-reviewed sources. Search engines allow users to search the web and find information on nearly anything. Although many researchers avoid search engines because of the vast amounts of unsubstantiated information they are likely to uncover. Because no legitimacy needs to be provided for any information that appears on the web or internet, an author can make claims, substantiated or not, and still use the web as a publishing venue. Despite the pitfalls associated with search engines in general, they can produce an abundance of useful information when used with discretion. Different search engines will produce different results when used with the same research. For example, one popular search engine rates its results by the number of hits a page or site has received. Whereas the most popular research results are likely to be relevant, the order in which results appear does not indicate quality or viability of the source. Different web address domain suffixes .com, .edu, .org, .gov, and so forth indicate who is responsible for creating the website. Although an .edu site is hosted by an educational institution and for that reason may seem legitimate, consider that it could also belong to a student stating a personal opinion, gossip, or guesswork. In contrast, .gov sites are maintained by the government and nearly always have professional contact information. Web hosts develop new domain suffixes constantly, so although looking at the suffix can be useful, it should not be the sole deciding factor when choosing to trust information. Nearly all higher education institutions have placed their library catalogs online. Although this is an obvious convenience for many students, some nursing professionals unused to working completely online may be intimidated by an e-catalog. Library professionals at the tiniest university and the busiest community college are available to demonstrate how to navigate a basic search of their library's catalog. Asking for assistance in learning how to access the vast assortment of journals, books, databases, and other resources available at one's college library is an excellent idea. Students in nursing programs at larger universities will likely find free classes that specifically teach users how to navigate and use online catalog. If smaller colleges and universities do not offer these services, one can take advantage of the library's online tutorials, help pages, frequently asked questions pages, and online reference services available. Local public libraries often have subscription to popular databases and offer free classes on searching techniques to patrons, providing yet another free access point to the best information for one's research needs. Making full use of availability of available library resources serves to strengthen information literacy skills, enabling learners to master content and extend their own investigations, become more self-directed, and assume greater control over their learning. Copyright laws in the world of technology are notoriously misunderstood. The same copyright laws that cover books, physical books, artwork, and other creative material are still applicable or may apply in the digital world. Have you ever given a friend a CD that contains a computer game or some other type of software that you paid for and registered? Have you ever downloaded a song from the internet without paying for it? Have you ever copied a section of online content from a reference site and used that content as if it was your own? Have you ever copied a picture from the internet without asking permission from the photographer who took the picture? Have you ever copied and pasted information about a disease or drug from a website and then printed out the information to give to a patient or family member? These are all examples of the types of copyright infringements enabled by technology that occur almost without thought. The value of creative material, whether it is content, a song, a painting, or some other type of creative work, lies not in the physical medium on which it is stored, but rather in the intangibles of creativity, skills, and labor that went into creating them. The person who created the material should be properly cited and possibly reimbursed for the use of the material. How would musicians be reimbursed for their music if everyone just downloaded their songs illegally from the internet? Imagine that you created a game to teach patients with type 1 diabetes how to manage their diet, and other nurses copied and distributed the game without getting your permission to do so. How would you feel? Almost all software music CDs and movie DVDs come with restrictions on how and why copies can be made. The license included with the software clarifies exactly which restrictions are applicable. The most common type of software license is a shrink wrap license, meaning that as soon as the user removes the shrink wrap from the CD or DVD case, he or she has agreed to the license restriction. Most computer software developers allow for drive fails on the user's computer. The software can usually be reinstalled through a backup copy. Some software companies even allow the purchaser of a software package to transfer it to a new user. In this case, the software typically must be uninstalled from the original owner's computer before the new owner is free to install the software on his or her computer. Most of these restrictions depend on the honesty of the user in reading and following the license agreement. Because of widespread abuses, however, the music and film industries commonly include hardware security features in their products that blocks users from making a working copy of a music CD or a movie DVD. The bottom line, copyright laws also apply to the digital world, and copyright violations can lead to prosecution. Advances in technology have made the sharing of information easy and extremely fast. A scanner can convert any document to digital form instantly, and that document can then be shared with people anywhere in the world. Nevertheless, the person who originally created that document has the right to approve of the sharing of the work. Carefully read the fine print of any software purchased and be sure to clarify any questions regarding how the software can be copied. Avoid downloading music illegally from the internet, and do not use information from the internet without permission to do so or without citing the reference appropriately. Healthcare organizations that allow access to the internet from a network computer should ensure that the users are well aware and compliant with all copyright and fair use principles. Fair use permits the limited use of original works without copyright holders' permission. An example would be quoting or citing an author in a scholarly manuscript. Again, the user is responsible for developing appropriate citations, and citing inappropriately or not at all is considered plagiarism. Nurses are already intimately familiar with data collection as daily agents of patient care documentation, patient monitoring, and interview data. In this way, formal nursing data sets are actually made up of gathered information such as healthcare definitions, classification, and nursing information. Before data can be analyzed or critically reviewed to determine outcomes or assessments, they must be collected and aggregated. Nurses may generate and record data from their own observations or with the assistance of various devices. Free text, informational data such as drug dosages administered, resources used, problems diagnosed, is recorded electronically. Free text is then interpreted and organized in some standardizing principle, either manually or by a computer. In this way, data, which is often qualitative data that cannot be traditionally measured in a numeric sense, can be organized and processed. A central issue to generation and analysis of free text data is the lack of a generally accepted set of terminology to capture nursing data. Data actually can become information when these separate components are interpreted, organized, combined, and structured within a specific context to convey particular meanings. Database management systems consist of software designed to collect, sort, organize, store, retrieve, select, and aggregate data. Nursing and health data may be classified into 4 basic types: resource data, for example, financial information; patient and client demographics; activity or clinical data, and health service provider data. These primary data may be either recorded manually or collected electronically, with manual collection providing a greater opportunity for error. When data are electronically recorded, this process follows a programmed set of instructions built into the software, thereby cutting down substantially on collection error. Of significant importance is the collection process, the data collection form, and the computer interface used for inputting the data. These affect the completeness, consistency, and accuracy of the resulting data. Quantitative data collection tools or instruments include questionnaires, interviews, surveys, quizzes, assessments, email interviews, and web-based surveys, all of which generate numerical data rather than text-based data. Questionnaires, one of the most popular means of data collection, can be administered in hard copy on paper or programmed into a website where individuals may answer the questions electronically. Other electronic data collection tools include personal digital assistants and on-site laptops. A key benefit of using electronic data collection is the ability to transmit data to another computer directly for compilation and analysis, thereby cutting down on the risk of error. Of course, one must always be cognizant of the need to protect the privacy of participants by de-identifying data collected for research and by having tools in place to provide secure transmission and storage of private information. Some researchers are finding rich qualitative data on public sites and freely available patient support sites and blogs. An important issue associated with such internet-based data collection is whether the participants actually are who they say they are and whether they actually have the variable of interest or are just pretending to be someone or something they are not. Remember that the same rules for protecting human subjects apply no matter where the data are accessed or collected, and that all research involving human subjects should be formally approved by the appropriate Institutional Review Board, or IRB. Many IRBs have specific policies in place that govern electronic data collection and storage to ensure that the rights and the privacies of research participants are protected. The future of nursing informatics is growing as fast as technology itself. The more nurses participate in the development process of healthcare technology, the more efficient and effective nursing informatics may become. Nurses are urged to take an active role in the profession by providing real-world feedback during the design process and after implementation. Such practical insights will provide valuable data for technology evaluation and advancement in the field of nursing informatics.